Philly Joe and Kirby Podcast.
This is the Philly Joe and Kirby Podcast.
You asked the question off air, Joe, so I will tell you. Toronto, the Argos, won the season series with the Bombers. Won both games. Both games were close.
I just remember how well their defense played against our offense. I do like the fact that they both, we lost both regular season games, because doing that 3 times in a season, in a short season like the CFL, on how many times you play a team, I think that goes in our favor. Nick Arbuckle, though, you shouldn't take lightly as a quarterback. He was considered the backup, but he played so many games because Chad Kelly was out for a suspension, and he played well as the starter for Toronto. But you've seen a team that many times already. I really like the Bombers' chances of winning. But 10.5 points, holy cow.
And they beat the Bombers 2 years ago in the Grey Cup. This is, I know,
Yes.
like the odds makers know more about this stuff than me, but I think they're way off here. I don't think it matters who plays quarterback for the Bombers or for the Argos. They're all defense. They're all like, they got great special teams, Janarian Grant. They're just the big, tough D-line and O-line. They're just a well-structured team, and they would be a handful if you were at quarterback, Shalinda Kirby. They're just a handful of a football team, and this will not be a blowout. No chance. Am I crazy?
No, I don't think so. It's the Grey Cup.
Yeah.
I do like the fact, too, isn't the history there behind the whole Caleros deal coming to us from Toronto and changing the outcome of that year to go to the Grey Cup and win 2 in a row?
Is that where he came out of? I know.
Yeah. I mean, he went from Hamilton to Toronto, I believe, right? And then they figured he was dispensable, and we picked him up like for nothing, basically, and he turned the season around with this team. That changed the whole dynamic, and they went on that run. We're going to win the Grey Cup this Sunday because nobody expected us to get there.
Calling it.
I called it 5 years ago.
Time, because you know what? We won it twice in a row, and then we've had a lull for the last two years, and now it's time.
Remember, I called it 5 years ago, Phil, at the beginning of the season.
The magic.
And I said the magical year was happening. I'm telling you right now, only a week out, and I got a 50% chance of being right.
It's a magical year.
It's a magical season.
He's calling it right now.
Well, hey, starting 0-4 and going into this game, I mean, I don't know if Chad Kelly's playing. I don't know what the odds makers would have had the game, but I got to tell you, I'm glad we lost those 2 games. I'm just going back to that point.
We're
that
underdogs.
makes me feel a lot better. I'm going in with the underdog feeling.
Forget what the odds makers say. Argos beat us 2 years ago. We lost both games at Toronto this year. The Argos beat the defending Grey Cup champs last week.
Yep.
If they had Kelly, it'd be like 3.5 points either way.
I'm going in with the underdog mentality. They've played that way all year, the Bombers, on one game at a time.
By the way, Winnipeg, the 4th team to make 5 consecutive Grey Cup appearances, but first since Edmonton did it. So
in the 80s,
77 to 82.
Yeah.
So that's a long. The Bombers.
And that team was a dynasty. That Edmonton team.
Do we need another one to call us a dynasty, or is just making 5 straight Grey Cups make us a dynasty?
You got to win when to put the exclamation mark on it. I think.
Did you guys see the video about the Grey Cup coming out of like at the airport?
No.
I have not, no.
There's this video circulating over the weekend, how it arrived, and it, like, you know how like your luggage comes out at the airport, of the little terminal thing?
Yeah.
Anyways, I need to know where they got the case for that thing, because that is the kind of suitcase
You need it for your luggage when you go on trips?
Yes, it's about the size that I need.
Get 2 pairs of shoes in that, baby.
Philly Joe Kirby.
Philly Joe and Kirby
Podcast.
The Philly Joe and Kirby Podcast.
Well, then get the off Twitter and call the Bone phone.
Don't make me look up from my phone.
780-BONE. Brought to you by Auto Gallery of Winnipeg.
We're back in the Grey Cup again. We're back.
I like it.
Got this one too.
I know you guys right now are watching this Bomber game, all 3 of you. Philly wiping cheesies off his shirt. Joe wondering who's going to eat that last slice of pizza. And, of course, Kirby doing a selfie with the game playing in the background. Go Bombers, go.
Actually, I was on a bus coming back from Brandon with my oldest. He had one of his hockey team had a hockey game in Brandon. So we had the radio cranked on the bus. Sometimes it's neat to enjoy a football game or check out a football game in that atmosphere where a bunch of people are gathered around a radio. Old school.
Well, he nailed it for me. I was working over who was having the last piece of pizza while the game was on. No word of a lie.
And Curbs selfieing.
For sure.
They're hitting the selfies during the game.
Did I even watch the game if I didn't take a selfie?
Yeah, didn't happen. Right,
Exactly.
Okay, guilty. Also, he's fired up about a lot of things. The weather, the Bombers, the Jets.
All right. First and foremost, Remembrance Day. Most important, go to the ceremony at Camp Morton. I've been doing that. This will be the warmest day in, I can't remember. It's Remembrance Day. Dummy, remember. But no, it's a beautiful day. The sun is shining. Went for a lot, walked the lake, but did the Bombers and the Jets nail it? Yeah, both blowouts, and I'm pretty sure I said that Saturday morning. You got to feel it. You got to believe. And don't around. Let's win the whole shooting match. The Stanley Cup, the great job! Okay, anyway, that was a little excitable. Peace out. Have a great week, everybody. Go Bombers, go!
That kind of gets lost in the shuffle. I was at the Jets game against Dallas, and it was a real fun time. They've done a nice job improving the feeling inside the arena, too. Like, there was a lot going on, and they were pumping it up. I mean, it helped that the Jets got off to a good start against a tough team.
It's great to see.
But it was fun. It was great atmosphere.
Yep. Okay, and moving on here, Dennis in traffic, wanting to get home to watch the Bomber game.
Good morning, BJK. This will be Tuesday morning. You guys play this call or whatever day next week. Driving home from work. Great Bomber win. I had to listen to it on the radio because I was working. Driving through downtown. I get it. There was a Jets game. People are driving 45 friggin' kilometers an hour down St. Mary's Road. Oh, my word. It's dark out. What do we do? There's a friggin' Bomber game on, people. Get home. Oh, I just want a beer. Let's go Jets. Let's go Bombers.
It's the worst when you're, like, excited to get somewhere.
Yep.
And you're behind a slow driver. It hurts even more.
It does. Absolutely. Okay, you can tell, and I believe from the tone of some of his calls, that the professor is not on this slow driver complaining about slow drivers bandwagon. And I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he tends to give off the vibe that he thinks society in general is in too much of a hurry. Would you say that sort of sums up some of the tone of some of the professor's calls?
Yep.
Okay, so here we go.
All summer long, we've been hearing people bitching about Winnipeg drivers not exceeding the speed limit on every goddamn road that there is. So maybe as we come into winter and we're acknowledging how many accidents and pileups are happening, and maybe what will fix this is if we just all drive 40 or 50 kilometers an hour over the speed limit literally everywhere we go. School zones, signs, just do what you want. Let's bring anarchy in. This shit. That'll make it better.
Whoa, hey, professor, it's having a day.
It's funny, I was talking to somebody who works for MPI, and they were dealing in the department of suspended licenses and everything else. If you've had too many tickets, Kirby had some in the news about nobody paying their tickets.
Yeah.
and the government's looking for money anyway. They're going to have to do something to collect that, because that would come in handy for the coffers for sure. But they were saying that the biggest culprit is people being in a rush for these tickets, rolling stop signs and everything else. And that number is crazy. But there is some frustration when you're in some of these areas that the speed limit is 70 or 80 and people are going like 30 below the speed limit. That's a lot.
Mm-hmm. And that whole being in a rush thing, I learned that in defensive driving. Because when I was much younger, like early 20s, I had my license suspended because of the amount of tickets. A crazy amount of tickets.
So you went.
I couldn't see that.
2 months. And it was awful, like one of the worst in my mind at the time. I'm like, this is the worst thing ever. Right. And I had to go take defensive driving, and they talk about being in a rush and to just calm down. Right?
Well, you learned some stuff, obviously,
Absolutely.
some takeaways that stuck with you.
John with a J. Winter tires came up last week on the program, and he wants to talk.
And so now I want to talk about winter driving, winter tires versus non-winter tires, people that know how to drive versus winter morons, right? So, are winter tires better in the winter? Yes. We spent a lot of money and figured that out. Are winter morons with winter tires going to drive any better? No. You could give them an army tank. You could give them a tank in the winter, and they'll still manage to smash into something.
Tank would be neat. Like, you wouldn't be moving fast, I don't.
No.
But,
Speaking of slow driving.
yeah. Like, but it would be
Stay
Everybody
right.
be going around.
If you're driving a tank, stay right.
The Philly Joe and Kirby Podcast.
As Ricky from Trailer Park Boys once famously said, I like Helix, man. They got simple lyrics. Give me an R. Give me an O. Give me a C. Give me a K. And then the crowd chants, rock. He's like, I can deal with a band like that.
Oh, God.
Hey, that show is you can have the live spelling bee performance of a lifetime at the Club Region Event Center coming up next week. It's next Thursday, baby.
November 22nd, yes.
Friday. Next Friday.
Right. That's going to be unbelievable. Helix and Kick-Ass, Club Region Event Center. Keep it right here. As always, 92.1 City. You want to win your way in to all the big shows. I want to play you guys some audio. I think we might have a new Dan Campbell in the NFL. If this guy can stick around for a while. His name is Darren Rizzi. He's the new head coach of interim head coach of the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, he's got that raspy voice too, and he's got that kick-ass attitude.
What's his name again?
Darren Rizzi, like R-I-Z-Z-I.
Get Rizzi with it, Kirby.
And
Get Rizzi with it.
This will surprise no one. He has worked with Dan Campbell in the past. They were both on the Miami Dolphins coaching staff a few years ago. So when you hear him talk in a minute, you're going to be like, oh, that makes complete sense that he's good buddies with Dan Campbell. Here he is. He had a bit of an unfortunate experience before his first game as head coach of the New Orleans Saints over the weekend.
No, man, I'm a pretty open guy, so this is how my day started. I get down here to the stadium, I get down here to the Superdome, I go in the head coach's locker room, which, I've never used before, right? So here I am early in the morning, I go to the bathroom, and this is how my day started. I clogged the toilet. And I'm like, this is going to be a crappy day, pun intended. And so listen, I'm like, okay, this is not really a great start to the day. Here we go. And so, I'm not really feeling like a head coach of an NFL team right now. So, so I'm like, really? This is really how we're going to start my day? So,
and the Saints went out and got the win. But that is. No one wants to walk around a house or a workplace looking for the plunger. And I'm assuming that's what you got to do in moments like that.
Where he's lucky is the fact that, that's a pretty high-end facility they have there in New Orleans. And he's not the guy that's, mind you, he's the type of guy that probably do the plunging himself. He's a paisan.
If I'm the guy who plugged the toilet, I'm not going to ask somebody in the building to fix it for me. Because it's right
on your first day.
Well, it's your own mess, quote unquote, right? I'm not, hey, Larry, the maintenance guy, I plugged the toilet. Can you go in there and tidy it up for me? Like, no, give me the plunger and I'll deal with this.
Rizzi's pretty intense. Like, he's not one of those guys. He probably ripped the toilet right out of the ground and just threw it out.
Yes, causing a bigger mess.
He might have.
Honestly, I would just have left it, especially if it was my first day. I would have just got out of there.
No, run.
I tailed it.
Yeah.
That's who did this? Oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened.
Well, it's got to be the head coach. It's the head coach's bathroom. It wouldn't be much of a.
You can't do that though.
In
that situation. I know that's literally a crappy situation to be in. Like
he's not. I think he's got his own bathroom in his office.
That's
he's
what he
not,
said.
Yeah, he's not using the facility where the general pop is using the players. All of a sudden, where's coach? I see his shoes. They're right here. Yeah, he's right here.
This is the Philly Joe and Kirby Podcast.
Seriously, stop going outside so much on the weekend. You got the allergies bugging you this morning?
I should have put on one of the 4,000 masks I still have left from COVID 2020. Those disposable ones?
Yeah.
I could have put one of those on. And
so you're saying that your girl Christy had the audacity to rake some leaves. You go out with a dog.
The dog was out.
The dog was out?
He likes roaming around the backyard, so I went out to check on him, hung out there with him for a bit, throwing the ball around, and Christy took care of the last run of leaves in the back because I guess two of our bushes and that were finally, I know.
Stirred up.
Now I can't breathe.
Stirred up everything from the leaves.
Too bad.
The
She was
debris.
out there working hard.
And you pay the price this morning,
I
my
paid
friend.
the price. I think she's breathing okay.
Oh, wow.
What a weekend for weather. Like it's and really the run we're on right now.
It's so bizarre.
Which
It's surreal to think, like, I don't think in my time of living in this province, which is like 7 years now, I've ever seen a November like this.
well, yeah, I mean it's pretty it's
Where
pretty
we have had no snowfall yet. Like zero.
I don't know. I think maybe we've had lots of Novembers like this. It's not. I feel like it's getting more and more normal. And look, this is all just us going, I feel like, I think. So, our listeners will correct us on the Boston Pizza text
I'll
line.
agree with the current temps that we've had this November. Hard for me to remember, but maybe last November was pretty good too, temperature-wise.
I think so.
But
Do
I
you
can't
remember?
recall. Yes, that's September, not November. From Earth, Wind, and Fire.
I think it's getting more and more common to not to almost have brown Christmases, like where we have a little layer of snow and we start getting into the big snowfalls after Christmas. That's what it strikes me that I'm not blown away by this at all.
No, temperature-wise, though, I think I agree with Curbs. I can't recall maybe over the last couple of years it's been okay. Temperature-wise.
James on the Boston Pizza text line says it's not rare. Then we get another one here. There's been 2 or 3 Novembers in the past 7 years like this.
Right.
There was snowfall in some areas of the province. It looked like somebody said Enola and Toulon got snow over the weekend.
They're both beautiful this time of year, by the way. Enola and Toulon, if you're looking for a little day trip, Kirby.
Okay.
I have no idea if they're beautiful this time of year or in the
Thank
winter.
you. I'll have to.
Phil's an
head out to
influencer for the tourism.
Enola and Toulon area.
Toulon.
What'd you do this weekend? Oh, I heard it. Toulon area was gorgeous at this time of year.
Not a bad day to talk about it, but apparently it's Toulon Tuesday today. So
Wait a minute. It's Two-Dat.
It's Two-Dat Tuesday, and I know it's going to be a slow Two-Dat Tuesday because a lot of people were pretty quiet on Sunday after a Bomber and Jets victory on Saturday.
Well, let's see. We already
it was
got
a kind of long weekend for a lot of people.
That's right. We already got a Two-Dat photo sent to us this morning. Of course, that's Joe came up with this 2 days ago Tuesday.
Yep.
It's sharing your memories of what
From
you
Sunday.
did from Sunday. So send us a photo. Hashtag the number 2 DAT.
Yeah.
Hashtag Two-Dat. We want to know what you were up to on Sunday.
I need a reactant. Leave me alone.
Philly, Joe, Kirby.
Philly, Joe, and Kirby.
Podcast.
The Philly, Joe, and Kirby podcast.
Two-Dat Tuesday. Okay, yeah. So just Two-Dat. Because the T is all ready for Tuesday, the person is saying.
This is more about just an over-explanation till it really gets the groundswell going.
We're going to switch
That's
it
the best.
to Nitpick Tuesday.
I love it.
We got this one. Two-Dat. My daughter Daphne's 9th birthday.
I've always loved the name Daphne.
It is
Maybe
nice.
it's because that was my favorite character in Scooby-Doo.
That's a heck of a deal, too. They rented the hotel room with the friends for a party.
That's the
cool.
new. That's the new thing. The kids love doing that. That's chaos. I let my wife handle that one. Like there's been a couple of those.
Sounds like you guys let your wives handle a few things.
We do. Yeah, it's a good move.
Work around the yard, birthday parties.
Well, I'll tell you what, mine in March, I might do the same thing, a hotel with the friends. What do you mean it's new? It's been going on for years. I'm not going to use the water slide. I'll leave that to the other kids having the party.
You got to. If you're going to do it for your birthday, Joe, get on that water slide.
Joe, I would love to go to a water slide party for your birthday.
I would come. Let's do it.
We can
hotel.
have pizza?
Some pizza? Yeah.
Yeah.
Pizza
well, of course
and a
you're gonna
water
have pizza.
party.
It's a birthday.
We'll run up and down the halls. We'll play some mini stick hockey.
Ice cream cake.
Tell Christy to get the loot bags ready. I'm all
right.
in.
Yes, we got to get her on the party planning committee.
Well, sure. I'm not going to
Once
plan
she's
my
done
own
with the
birthday
leaves
party.
in
I'm
the
not you.
The Philly, Joe, and Kirby podcast.
Going to a lot of parties, Curbs, where you don't know anybody. Is this just a new thing of yours? Oh wait, I don't know anybody here. What the hell are you doing at the party? Like, who invited you? Hey, Kirby, I got a great idea. I think you should come to a party. You don't know anybody, but I think you should come anyway. Kirby was asking us off air. Repeat the question.
Just a hypothetical question, okay? If you went to a party and you see nobody you know when you walk in, what's your next move?
Wonder why I got invited to this party when I don't know anybody at the party.
Yeah, there'd be a good chance I would know somebody. I'll be honest. At this point in my
That
life.
makes sense,
So,
yeah.
but you're right. I don't think I'd ever be invited to somewhere where I wouldn't know somebody, even if I was waiting for the people I know. I don't know if I'd go to a party with just knowing a couple of people.
I do a lot of things solo, obviously. We've talked about this. Like, I've traveled to a few places by myself, and I do go to a lot of, like, events, concerts and stuff like that solo. So I know what that's like to walk into a room and not know anybody.
Okay, but that's a little different. Going to Canada Life Center, sitting with 50,000 people at a concert. You're talking
a house party.
And usually you've
Well,
got
plus-
somebody with you at the concert.
Here's the other question. How are you getting invited to a house party if you don't know anybody there?
Well, okay, the
goes to a
people
lot of
that
concerts.
were invited, okay? It's just a hypothetical
No, I
question I
understand.
saw, and I thought it was interesting because what would your next move be if you didn't know anybody in the room? Like, would you get yourself a drink and just hang out in the corner?
I'd go in the backyard and shotgun 6 beers so that I felt brave enough to talk to a bunch of people I don't know.
I'd just jump into somebody else's cooler,
Steal some beer.
going, hey, anybody mind?
What kind of party is this anyway?
Yeah.
And what the hell am I doing here?
Yeah. How did I get invited here? I don't know anybody. Oh, but wait, my friend said it was hypothetical. So I'm here.
This is the Philly Joe and Kirby podcast. And now, Philly Joe and Kirby present the Not So New Movie Review.
No, Mr. Miyagi? You think I had a chance at winning?
Win, lose, no matter.
No, that's not what I mean.
I had good chance.
Well, can you fix my leg? I mean, with that thing you do?
No need fight anymore. You prove a point.
At what point? That I can take a beating? I mean, every time I see those guys, they're gonna know they got the best of me. I'll never have balance that way.
And he took a beating in that movie.
Did he not come up with the crane kick because of that bad leg?
Yeah. The crane kick.
The crane kick he learned, I don't think he learned because of the
I don't
bad
think
leg.
it was because of the
No,
bad
but
leg,
he ended up using it because of that. But listen, how about this? By chance, guess who goes into the Hollywood Walk of Fame tomorrow? Ralph Macchio.
Oh, how perfect. Of course.
He's going to get a star.
This works out nicely. So Kirby stunned both Joe and I and our audience last week, divulging that she had not seen Karate Kid yet, which worked out perfectly with the Not So New Movie Review. Kirby, thoughts?
Joe was not lying. I loved this movie.
It had you written all over it. That's, I think, what the big shocker was for all of us.
The life lessons, like take out the karate stuff. And just the life lessons alone.
We're not taking out the karate.
It's called the Karate Kid.
Yeah,
it's not take out the karate.
We're not changing it to the kid.
But the premise of the movie is like obviously like this kid being somebody that learns like confidence and these life skills from his mentor. And now I understand the references that people make about this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The bullies.
I understand.
What did you think of the bad guys? The Cobra Kai, that crew,
Yeah.
Johnny Lawrence.
Yeah.
Those were not nice guys.
No, they were not.
Now, I don't know if you went out on a limb and caught Ralph Macchio in The Outsiders or My Cousin Vinny. Those were two big roles for him, too. Or you just left it with the...
That's exactly it. You just summed up my whole weekend, Joe. I just went down the rabbit hole.
I would have gone down the rabbit hole with Ralph Macchio for the weekend.
That scene with the crane kick, the final moments of the movie, that stands the test of time. Like, you'll watch movies sometimes, like, for example, back when this first came out, and it'll be so amazing, but you're like, and then you try to watch it later on in life, and you say to yourself, that just did not stand the test of time. But that moment, the crane kick, when he beats Johnny Lawrence, I can watch it today, or I can watch it 10 years ago, and it's so dramatic. It never stops being amazing. What an amazing moment.
It's because it's like not only like showcasing like his physical coming to be his strength, but just like a symbolic, like a
inner
symbol
strength,
of
Kirby.
like, his
coming of age.
It was just a feel-good movie.
What about Elizabeth Shue? She's outstanding.
Yes. Yeah. I knew you would really like.
What a relationship.
How about
Those
Pat
two.
Morita, Mr. Miyagi? The guy played Arnold on Happy Days and takes on this dramatic role as the mentor. Now, I can't remember how good Karate Kid 2 or 3 were. I don't want to talk about 4 because he wasn't in it, but I do remember seeing one of them for sure.
I saw 2.
Was it okay?
I mean, I was right. Like, I was a Karate Kid super fan, so I was right into it. I'm just having 6 out of 10. Like
number 2?
This is what the critics were saying.
What did number 1 get?
Number 1 was up there, like in the 90s on Rotten
Well,
Tomatoes.
I want to hear what this young lady has to say about it.
Well, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10.
Only an 8.
Only an 8. I think that's the highest rating I've ever given.
No, I don't
Did
think
I
so.
do a 9 out of 10?
I think you have, yeah.
Oh.
What was it?
I think we should be writing these down, but I don't.
I know, we never remember.
But no, I think for sure you've given a 9.
I thought, okay, well, I don't know. I thought it was good. I didn't think it was like mind blowing.
Well, thought you would have learned
It's
a few life lessons out of it. That
greatest movies of my time. And you're giving it an 8.
Like,
I don't think you're hearing Phil. It was one of the greatest movies of his time.
It's still pretty high up there. Listen, it's not like the 3 out of 10 I gave Transformers 2.
I'm going to try to sway
Transformers 2. Sorry, T2.
Did you hear this?
Now we're comparing. What you didn't even see Transformers. It was T2.
Did you like Ralph Macchio in My Cousin Vinny with the whole 2 Utes and Joe Pesci? You haven't seen that one either?
It's been in a long time since
Okay.
I've seen that one.
I'll take it.
What would you give it, Phil?
I'd give it a 9 for sure.
Wow, 9 out of 10.
Yeah, we're
I
talking
think so.
about it's
back
fun.
in the day, man.
But it's probably because it means a lot. Like, you're going to have a higher rating because you saw it for the first time when you were younger. And so it, like, hits for you. Like, there's a feeling for it.
If I play this for you. Does this work? Does this raise the rating to a 9?
The soundtrack was lit.
This is during the final tournament. They play that song.
You gotta hang tough to make it. That's like
Right.
life at its best, right there.
You're the best around.
Okay, well, I'm sorry, Phil.
It's okay. I forgive you. 8's pretty good. 8's
pretty good.
Still, yep.
It's a B or a B plus, isn't it? A B.
I'll take it. It was good. It was a good watch. I
Not
didn't
so-
cry, but it was worth it.
I thought you might, like...
Didn't shed a tear, but it definitely hit. It
I'm
hit
shocked,
the
though.
feels.
To be honest, I thought you were going to score it higher than an 8. I really did.
Sorry to be a big
Because of
letdown.
all the motivation in it.
Right.
And your mismotivation.
Yes.
I thought you'd be writing with lipstick on the wall some of these quotes.
For more Philly, Joe, and Kirby, log it into 92.1 City weekday mornings 6 to 10.